We went to 3 NFL stadiums in 1 week. Okay, it was actually 8 days, but 1 week sounds cooler and it'll make more people click. Point in fact, you're watching right now, so I say it was pretty successful. Boom, gotcha. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Xtreme channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. If you're a follower of the channel, you know that my wife and I are huge sport fans. In fact, check out this video right here. We're lucky enough to have season tickets to a few different venues, but we also like to travel too. So we took off to go see the Denver Broncos play the Lions. We always fly first class. We're very blessed to be able to do that. And they were playing in Detroit in December of 2023. Now, while the Lions were a clear favorite, it doesn't take away from the fact we still like to have a great time. And typically when we go to some of these traveling games, we check out some other places. So Detroit is right next to Windsor, which is actually in Canada. So we actually took the tunnel over to Canada, which was pretty cool and pretty scary actually, driving underneath the Great Lakes, I believe it is. And we went over to Canada just to check out a few things and puddle around there for some time before the night game. This included going over to Caesars. You can see we're a little bit jet lagged and tired, but it was a fantastic time just to check out the beautiful waterfront over there and some of the things associated with the city of Detroit, which gets a bad rap, and I think sometimes deservedly so, but there are some other cool things. One of the things we did is, because we don't have the normal clubber seats that you've seen in some other videos at Ford Field, we bought the Bullseye pre-game VIP tailgate party. So that means we get free food, free alcohol about a mile away. Here you can see me contemplating jumping in front of Detroit NBC camera. And eventually I did end up doing that. As you see here, they wanted some film for the opening 6 p.m. news. But we like going to some type of events like these just to have a good time and also kind of get our drink and food on before the game starts. Then we took a shuttle over to Ford Field because it was very cold outside. Thankfully, Ford Field is enclosed. It was a beautiful field. I'd never been there, but I really liked it. I really liked a lot of the decorations or the decor. You know, around some of the areas, it almost looked like you're walking in like an old town, but you were inside, so I thought that was pretty neat. But overall, we do not like domes or interior fields. We think outside is a much more fun atmosphere, and we're lucky enough to have season tickets to the Broncos in Denver, where it is that exterior atmosphere. The game was a horrible game, in my opinion, simply because the Lions destroyed the Broncos. I like competitive games, even if you lose, but this wasn't even competitive. But we still had a good time, despite some fans who were very respectful and very welcoming to us, and then a few other Detroit fans just don't know what the word class means. And I can understand that. When I have an NBA team that's making records as the worst team ever, I might take my anger out on some other sports. So we sadly walked away from the game, and we still stayed another day, did a few Detroit things I didn't take many pictures of, but we had to get back to Denver because we had tickets to the Nuggets game that night. Here's my wife and my daughter with our season tickets to the Nuggets, who are a winning team, which kind of helps the soreness when the Broncos lose. But then just a few days later, we had to jump on a plane. Now, not only do we usually get to fly first class, but we also have access to clubs. And this was very, very early in the morning. As you see, the airport was empty. We were flying to Vegas, baby. Actually invited to go see the Las Vegas Bowl. So a college bowl game that takes place at Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. There we are on the plane. One of the cool things about flying this direction is you get to fly over the snowy mountains when it's in the winter. Because again, this was still December. Now, the really great thing about this trip, it was actually paid for. So we were invited as guests and had some cool stuff.
So this is our transportation. Apparently it's a bus for like 40, but there's only me and Mrs. X on here, so yeah. I don't know what to say. That's how you ride in style, right? I feel bad, all these empty seats.
I got one better for you too.
Yeah.
So if you want, we can do a complimentary stop for you at the airport liquor store if you want it.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we need to calm down a little bit. We started really early this morning, so.
You already were an hour in the little lounge there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, plus the lounge in Denver, plus on the flight, plus so.
Yeah.
Appreciate it though.
Before we checked in, they had a welcome reception for us, which was kind of nice. So it was still morning at the time, but they had snacks. And then they had a hot brunch already prepared for us. As you can see, kind of a buffet. There were a few other people invited as well. So we took full advantage of that. And they also had another open bar. So this is the 4th open bar we've had, and it's only about 10 a.m. right now. So needless to say, it was an interesting trip.
So I know it's dark out, but that's simply because it's raining and nasty outside. But we just checked into our room at the Mandalay Bay, which we've stayed at before. We actually have another video on it. You can check it out right here.
Check it out.
But standard Mandalay room, they're decently nice. Do we have a view of anything other than the floodplains over there? No?
Airport.
Just the airport.
Yeah.
And the liquor store,
And
which
the
we've been
liquor
to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
But you have a bed, a sitting area, a nice writing desk area, and of course, a nice bathroom with a tub and shower and a water closet.
water closet.
Yeah, that's what they call those. Is a pool?
You can see the pool.
We definitely ain't going to the pool this time, although we spent tons of money at it last time. Where be it?
Right there.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I think that's the Delano pool.
It's the wave pool.
Oh, that is the wave pool. You're right. You're right. So our cabanas were like right in there.
Yeah.
Nobody's at it.
Nobody.
Shocker.
One of the things I always tell people is we're the cheapest rich people or the richest cheap people you will ever meet. So one of the goals we had this trip is, while they were providing a lot of stuff for us, is not spend a dime other than on tips. So with that, we kept taking stuff from the open reception and bringing it back to our room for drinks and snacks later. They gave us a bag with a bunch of free goodies in it, and this is probably me falling over, honestly, after drinking so much, but there's a little bit better shot of it right there. Now that night at the House of Blues, we had a free concert with Kelly James, who I didn't know who that was, but the lead band was Eli Young Band, which was pretty neat. We didn't stay that long. We were pretty tired and pretty hungover. So the next morning, we checked out a few parts of Vegas. We didn't do too much because we've been there so many different times, and we're actually coming back in about 8 weeks. So we're going to save that time to actually go into the true Vegas mode. We may or may not do a video on that. But I love Vegas. I love the atmosphere. I love the different things you can see. I love the shows. I love the food. And I just think it's a great place to unwind. And I'm not a huge gambler. I used to be, but not anymore. So after that afternoon, pretty hungover, we headed over to the stadium, as you can see right here. They had a tailgate event for us that was part of the package that, again, they were providing for us, which was kind of nice. Never been to Allegiant Stadium. I'm going to comment on that a little bit, but this is where the Raiders play. So the tailgate party was a huge tent, and they had nachos and burgers and pulled pork, some snacks you could take, and of course the most important part, an open bar, which we took full advantage of, probably a little bit too much advantage. There's me right there, not even knowing what I'm doing, but does anyone else hate when they see like a side of them they normally don't see? Anyway, we did end up going to the game. It was a night game. This was the Las Vegas Bowl, so it was Northwestern versus Utah. We honestly didn't really care, so we put some money on the over, which unfortunately they didn't hit. It was a pretty boring game. I think it was 0-0 at halftime. We still had a great time. While the seats weren't what we're normally accustomed to, as you'll see in the Broncos Stadium, I wish we had seats like this. They had some booth seats right up front, which was kind of impressive, to be honest with you. But with that being said, I think that the stadium was overrated. So it's a newer stadium. They spent billions of dollars on it. I wasn't impressed. I thought Ford Field was nicer. Again, we didn't like the fact it was an interior dome, although it was pretty cold that night, so that did help. And as you can see, not a lot of fans were there. But in the end, it was still a fun time, and we're glad we got to go. Believe it or not, this was our first college bowl game that we've ever been to. But we had to get back because in about 18 hours, we had a pro game to get to. So if you're following the channel, you know that we go to every home Broncos game. We have a pretty good setup, great seats, as well as a fantastic club we can get into. This was really cool, though. My wife and number 3, they actually got to go down on the field before the game because they had to practice because they were going to hold the flag. So they'd never been on a professional field, so that was a good opportunity for them. You can see the pictures here. There was a great gentleman who actually hooked us up. And then the national anthem itself was always really exciting. They usually do flyovers and parachuters. And I'm a little bit far away from them. You can barely see them. It's kind of grainy here. But it was really, really fun for them to be able to do that. So the light-up necklace, that is actually Mrs. X right there with the white coat. And then Number 3 is right next. And as I talk about on some other videos, we have great seats. We're at the 50-yard line. Okay, it's the 49-yard line, but third row on the visitor side, which is fantastic. It was a really fun and exciting game, despite the fact the Broncos lost with 9 seconds left, and it was cold, about 20 degrees. So we tried to stay warm, but if you recall and you've seen other videos, we actually have an all-inclusive club on the inside that we can retreat to. Check out this video if you want to see more information about that. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I know this is a different video. It's not about collecting, but I think it's about extreme lifestyle. We love to travel, we love sports, and we combine both of them with this. So if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button because we periodically do stuff like this a couple times a month. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Take care.